Thank you for joining me to learn about applying for the 2025 ACVPM exam. My name is Dr. Mariah Ziegler, a diplomate of the college and a 2-year member of the Credentials Committee. In addition to the following presentation, I encourage you to visit the ACVPM website at www.acvpm.org and review the information under the Diplomat Directory. Click on the ACVPM exam tab and you can find all the requirements about how to apply, the costs, as well as our frequently asked questions. In order to qualify to apply for the 2025 ACVPM exam, you must be a veterinary graduate or equivalent, have a history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior, which will be proven through 2 letters of reference as well as a sponsor form, and have completed qualifying training or experience after your veterinary degree is awarded, which I'm going to qualify later. Additionally, all applicants must be sponsored by an ACVPM diplomat that's in good standing. You can find an active member within the member directory on our webpage, which we will review later. The 2025 fee structure is as follows. There is a $300 non-refundable application fee payable upon submission of the application, followed by a $475 exam fee payable approximately 5 to 6 months prior to exam for candidates who are approved by the credentialing committee to sit for the 2025 exam. When you're ready to apply for the 2025 ACVPM exam, visit the 2025 exam application portal, which can be accessed from the college's homepage, again, www.acvpm.org, under the ACVPM tab. Once there, you'll be asked to create a member profile with your own unique login. After doing this, you'll be able to download the application form, the reference form, and the sponsored form as MS Word documents. Only online applications are accepted, and the $300 application fee for payment must be submitted online and is non-refundable. There are some key dates to keep in mind when you're applying or preparing to apply for the ACVPM application in order to sit for the 2025 board certification exam. This is all explained in detail at the ACVPM website, www.acvpm.org. under the Exam Application Portal tab. As a quick overview, between June 1st and July 31st, you need to register for a login on the website. Download the application, reference, and sponsor forms and read through them thoroughly so that you can plan your timeline accordingly. Next, you need to identify and request a sponsor who is an individual that is a diplomate in the the American College of Veterinary Preventive Medicine, and in good standing, someone who can guide you through the application process and review your application. This individual needs to attest to your good moral character and your qualifications to take the certification exam. A good date to shoot for this request is around June 15th. Provide your sponsor with the sponsor form and discuss a timeline for completion of materials that will allow the sponsor to have enough time with your application to review everything prior to the deadline and provide you feedback as applicable. By July 1st, you need to identify 2 additional references who are not the sponsor. These people do not need to be ACVPM diplomates or even veterinarians, but they can be. These references need to know you in a manner that allows them to attest to your veterinary preventive medicine knowledge, skills, and ability in accordance with the ACVPM specialty. And they need to have a history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior themselves and be able to attest to yours as well, as this is an important qualification for ACVPM membership. The references will need time to complete their forms to return them to you. So remember, it's really a professional courtesy for you to do this as early as possible to allow them plenty of time to write you a strong and supportive and complete reference. While the references are completing the forms, you can be completing your own. Aim to submit all of the materials to your sponsor no later than August 15th. The application window will be open between August 1st and August 31st. All application materials must be submitted within this time frame. Late applications are not accepted. Incomplete applications are not reviewed and not accepted. Applicants must also pay the application fee of $300 upon submission of the application. The ACVPM Credentials Committee reviews all complete applications whose fees have been paid for beginning September 1st and notifies applications of their results as soon as the review is complete. Next, I will review the requirements to apply and the qualifications to apply for the ACVPM exam in 2025 in detail. To reiterate, to be qualified to apply for the 2025 ACVPM exam, applicants shall be a graduate of a school or college of veterinary medicine accredited by the American Veterinary Medical Association, the AVMA, or possess an Educational Commission for Foreign Veterinary Graduates certificate or an ECFVG certificate of the AVMA, or be a graduate from a school or college listed in the directory of AVMA ECFVG colleges. And the applicant will have a history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior. And the applicant will have demonstrated qualifying post-veterinary degree training or experience. Next, we will discuss each of these requirements in more detail, beginning with the three options for proof of educational requirements. Qualifications for veterinary education will be listed in Table 1, Education, on the application form. Here you will describe either the AVMA accredited institution that issued your veterinary degree or equivalent, or you will include your information about your ECFVG certificate. This will include pictures or PDFs of both of or either of these certificates. For example, pictured on this slide are two different ways to demonstrate your veterinary education qualifications. The bottom left is a veterinary school diploma from an AVMA accredited institution, and on the bottom right is an example ECFVG certificate. Note, for many of you, you might have other veterinary or public health related degrees or related training programs, for example, MPHs, PhDs, or other residencies that you earned after your veterinary degree was conferred. You can list this as part of your qualifying experiences later on in the application. So that's for any degrees that are earned after your veterinary degree, can earn you qualifying experiences. Similarly, if you have degrees that are in progress, coursework will be listed in the same section of the application. Again, the qualifying experience application, which I'm going to discuss later on in this presentation. If you're not a graduate from an AVMA accredited school or college of veterinary medicine and do not possess a certificate from the Educational Commission for Foreign Veterinary Graduates, again, the ECFVG, but are a graduate with a degree in veterinary medicine or equivalent from a school or college that's listed on the directory of AVMA ECFVG listed veterinary colleges found at the website provided on this slide, you will use Table 1, your veterinary degree, to list your degree information, your institution, and date conferred, similar to the other two categories. But here you will provide your diploma as well as any translation that is needed. So if your diploma is non-English, you will be required to provide an English translation for the Credentials Committee to review. All applicants that are found acceptable to sit for the ACVPM certification exam must have a proven history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior. This is demonstrated through the inclusion of 2 reference forms from 2 separate references and 1 sponsor form. Please note that references do not need to be ACVPM diplomates or even veterinarians, but we welcome if they are, and that the sponsor cannot serve as the reference. The sponsor must also be an ACVPM diplomate in good standing. This form is pictured here on this slide. It's provided to you in a Microsoft Word document. The applicant should fill out your own name on the top of pages 2, 3, and 4, exactly as it will appear on your application form. And this also needs to match your member profile. Each of these forms should then be given by you, the applicant, to the reference to complete. And the reference will complete pages 2 through 4. References can be a current or a former employer or supervisor, a training program director, or any other person who knows you in a manner that allows for the reference to attest to a history of unquestionable moral character and professional behavior that's appropriate for ACVPM membership. The reference will return the signed form to you, the applicant, in a PDF format. You need to include this completed and signed form on your application packet. Detailed instructions are provided within the application form and on the reference form. The recommendation letter must be original text that's penned by the reference, so not copied and pasted from the applicant. And within it, it must be clear that the 2 letters of recommendation are authored by different individuals. Plagiarism does not align with good moral character and will disqualify an applicant. Please note that the reference also needs to initial the bottom of each page. Again, as a reminder, you as the applicant must fill out your name on the top of pages 2, 3, and 4 of the reference forms exactly as it's going to appear on your application form. The rest of this form is completed by the reference. On the previous slide, I showed you page 2. This slide will show you pages 3 and 4. Page 1 is a list of instructions that does not need to be returned within your application. As a reminder, the reference should know you in a manner that allows them to not only attest to your moral character, but also to your veterinary preventive medicine knowledge, skills, and abilities in accordance with the ACVPM specialty. The reference needs to describe the responsibilities and professional experiences that you have had in common and each veterinary preventive medicine area that you participated in. If the reference is from a training program, they should also describe the applicable courses, projects, and experiences that they worked on you with. Wherever applicable, the reference should mark not observed if they did not see you participate in one of these activities. Veterinarians applying to take the ACVPM certification exam also need to have an active diplomate in good standing to sponsor and support them through the process. The sponsor form is listed here on this slide. It's provided to you as a Word document. You as the applicant must fill out your name on the top of pages 2 and 3, again, exactly as it will appear in the application form. Each form is then given to the sponsor to complete. The sponsor must attest to your good, unquestionable moral and ethical character. And the sponsor also needs to have time to review the entire application form, including all copies of your diplomas or certifications, as well as the 2 completed reference forms. And they need to have time to provide you feedback and offer corrections where necessary. The sponsor roles and responsibilities are described on page 1 of the sponsor form. Additionally, sponsor responsibilities can be found on the ACVPM website, again at www.acvpm.org. It's the role of the sponsor to assist the candidate in the application process. Sponsoring usually takes about 1 to 2 hours. Providing additional support to the candidate during the study process is welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated, but not part of the standard requirements to be a sponsor. The sponsor should inform applicants if they note any errors or missing documents that might result in the application being rejected. So essentially, this is the first review of your application. And responsibilities of the sponsor include maintaining an active membership in the ACVPM, so either a diplomate or an emeritus member, Be an information source for the candidate on ACVPM policies and procedures. Be familiar and review Article 8 of the ACVPM bylaws, Section 2, which applies to certification. You should exchange contact information between yourself and your sponsor so that communication can occur throughout your application process. Your sponsor needs to assist in completion of the application, however, is not required to serve as a reference and is not allowed to serve as a reference. So remember, you need to have your 2 references and your sponsor be separate individuals. The sponsor needs to review the application in entirety to ensure that you've provided clear and complete responses that address the information requested by the credentialing committee and that also represent your experience to the best way possible. Remember, the credentials committee only sees what you offer. We're not allowed to infer between the lines, so you need to justify how your experience applies to the certain areas of veterinary preventive medicine. Yourself or your sponsor are welcome to contact the credentials committee to clarify any questions on the application forms or during the process. And your sponsor will approve the final application using the sponsor form. And remember, the most important part is that your sponsor needs to be willing and able to attest to your good moral character and qualifications to sit the certification exam. It's likely that many of you already have a contact within the college who is eager and willing to be your sponsor. For those of you that don't have a contact to serve as a sponsor yet, the ACVPM maintains a directory of sponsors. So if you search www.acvpm and you click on directory, this window up here or captured on the slide here allows you to search for sponsors. If you want to look at everybody that's willing to sponsor, just click yes. If you're looking for somebody that is local to your area or within a certain city or town, then you can search by your location, or if there's a particular individual that you know but are maybe out of contact with, if you want to search and make sure that they're a diplomate in good standing, you can enter a name. So there's a lot of opportunities here to ensure that everybody that is interested in sitting the certification exam this year can be linked to an appropriate sponsor. And finally, qualifying applicants must meet certain experience requirements. So let's review these. It's the role of the ACVPM Credentials Committee to determine the suitability of all experience provided and justification provided by applicants. Qualifying training or experience can be provided through one of the following 2 options. Qualifying candidates have successfully completed or are in your final year of a formal training or residency program that has been approved by the ACVPM prior to the application due date. For applicants in the final year of a college-approved formal training or residency program, final certification to sit the ACVPM exam is contingent upon documentation of successful completion of the approved formal training or residency program. Or qualifying applicants have earned a qualifying veterinary degree at least 4 years prior to the application deadline. And during that 4-year period, you have practiced in and documented within your application at least 42 months of qualifying work or volunteer experience in 3 or more areas of veterinary preventive medicine, as defined in Article 2 of the ACVPM Constitution. The Credentials Committee is responsible for determining the suitability of all experiences. Just a short overview, the 6 areas of veterinary preventive medicine are as follows: surveillance, prevention, management, and control of diseases, investigation of outbreaks and implementation of corrective actions, preparation, response, and recovery from natural man-made disasters, reduction of occupational and environmental health hazards, advancement of food safety, security, wholesomeness, and defense, and creation and implementation of policies and regulations. And again, you need to be able to document experience in at least 3 of these 6 areas. For individuals using ACVPM certified training or residency programs, a full list of approved programs are found at the website provided. The information about your training program should be provided to the Credentials Committee in Table 2, College Approved Formal Residency or Training Programs. This will only apply to individuals in approved training programs. Candidates can apply once they have completed the program or while they're in their final year. However, it must be completed prior to examination, and approval to sit for the certification exam is contingent upon successful completion of the program. The program must be approved by the college prior to the application deadline in order for an applicant to qualify for their experience under this method. For individuals who have or are in the final year of a certified training or residency program, you do not need to complete tables 3 or 4 of the application. For individuals who have not completed or are in their final year of an approved training or residency program, you will demonstrate your qualifying experience by providing proof of at least 42 months of qualifying experience. To qualify under this category, you need to have graduated at least 4 calendar years prior to application. Full-time work is counted as 35 hours per week. Anything less than 35 hours per week is considered part-time work and is prorated. If you have a full-time job and a part-time job on the side, we will not double count time that's overlapping. So for instance, if you work part-time on the weekends and a full-time job during the week, you get credit for 35 hours per week. And this work needs to happen after your veterinary degree or equivalent was conferred. We do take into consideration both paid and unpaid work. So pro bono or volunteer work is considered qualifying experience. Both work and training programs are also considered qualifying experience. And so if you are in postgraduate or after your veterinary degree was conferred, additional education, so a master's degree in MPH or a PhD, this is the place where you can tell us about the courses and the applicable coursework that you have done and completed, or even a residency that is not currently on the approved list. This is where you will provide the justification of your experiences. Remember that this experience needs to be obtained before the exam application deadline. For specific examples or additional information, you are encouraged to visit our FAQs at acvpm.org/page/FAQ. You'll find much more in-depth explanations and the answers to most of our frequently asked questions. As I mentioned, Table 3 is also where you will provide information about any advanced degrees or training programs that are not on the approved list, that are being completed or in the process of being completed after your veterinary degree was conferred. So just like a work experience or a volunteer experience, we also want to hear about any other academic experiences that you've had after your graduation from veterinary school. Please realize that if an experience was less than full-time, so again, less than 35 hours a week, you will need more than 42 months of experience. And so oftentimes, if you only graduated from veterinary school 4 years ago, or only had your degree conferred 4 years ago, you will need more than 4 years or 42 months to meet the minimum qualifying requirements if you're using part-time employment to do that. There are loads of examples in our FAQs on the website acvpm.org/page.faq. where you can work through many of these examples, but let's just do one quick work experience example. So for a candidate that graduated in June of 2020, graduated from an AVMA accredited veterinary school and is able to provide a PDF of their diploma. They started working in September of 2020. They began full-time work, 35 hours per week, and they worked 2 years in private practice doing some VPM tasks. And arguably, most of general practice has some VPM or veterinary preventive medicine applications. So it's all in the way that you communicate that to the credentials committee. In October 2021 through March 2022, this individual was not employed and began working again in March of 2022 in a full-time position with a federal agency doing primarily veterinary preventive medicine tasks through the exam application deadline, which as a reminder for this year is going to be August 31st, 2024. So if you work these numbers, you'll notice that this applicant has a total of 3 years and 5 months of experience, of applicable work experience. So while this candidate graduated from veterinary school and an appropriate veterinary school 4 years ago, they only have 41 months of qualifying experience. And that's if we're able to assume that these tasks are 100% veterinary preventive medicine work and are justified in Table 3. So this applicant would not qualify to sit the ACVPM exam in 2025 and would need to wait at least until the next cycle to have met the qualifying experience requirement. In Table 4, you will provide your work experience summary. And this is to be an overview of experiences for your entire career. And it's to aid the Credentials Committee in calculating your qualifying experience. You should take extra care to ensure the accuracy of all forms, but particularly this form. Eligible candidates will demonstrate a minimum of 42 months of full-time qualifying experience at the time that the credentialing exam is being offered. 42 months times 35 is 1,470 hours. Many candidates will need and will have taken more than 4 calendar years to meet this criteria, as other experience not related to veterinary preventive medicine does not count towards creditable experience, or potentially they are employed part-time during some of that 4 years. You need to summarize your experience in veterinary preventive medicine and document experience in 3 or more areas of veterinary preventive medicine as reviewed earlier and defined in Article 2 of the Constitution. The description of experience in each of the VPM areas should encompass your entire career. For example, if you had experience with a certain area of VPM in multiple positions, you should summarize your experience in that area of VPM during these multiple experiences together in one paragraph that is easily understood and consumed by the Credentials Committee. You need to be as descriptive and specific as possible. To qualify, the description of each experience in each selected VPM area must really be at least 4 sentences long and needs to provide specific details and examples of each experience. The Credentials Committee is responsible for determining the suitability of all experiences. Applications with discrepancies in their experiences or less than 3 areas of veterinary preventive medicine covered will not be accepted. Scant descriptions, so less than 4 sentences, will also not be accepted, as adequate documentation of experience is necessary for the Credentialing Committee to make appropriate determinations. And again, as a quick review and an easy way for you to have access to the information, this is directly from the ACVPM Constitution, Article 2, Definitions, veterinary preventive medicine is an integral component of veterinary medicine and is a recognized field of veterinary medical specialization. The specialty of veterinary preventive medicine is concerned with improving animal and human health through the surveillance, prevention, management, and control of diseases, investigation of outbreaks and implementation of corrective actions, preparation, response, and recovery from natural and man-made disasters, reduction of occupational and environmental health hazards, advancement of food safety, security, wholesomeness, and defense, and creation and implementation of policies and regulations. Qualifying applicants need to have qualifying experience that encompasses 3 or more of these areas of veterinary preventive medicine. The examination is focused on these areas in some capacity, and your success rate on the certification exam is really determined by your qualifying experience. Once you're a diplomate, it's expected that as a preventive medicine specialist that you are able to uphold these high levels or high standards of knowledge. So these again are the 6 areas that we'll be looking for when we review your package. So for all of your qualifying experiences, please try to look through the lens of veterinary preventive medicine and see how your experiences apply to items A through F listed on this slide. Now for a few helpful tips for completing your experience tables. So tables 3 and 4. It's imperative that you fill out these tables and all of your application accurately and thoroughly. You need to apply and describe your relevant work and education experiences to the tables within the application form. Keep in mind that you need to convince complete strangers of your knowledge, skills, and abilities in veterinary preventive medicine. Most veterinary activities have some veterinary preventive medicine aspect related to them, but the credentials committee can only know or see or have a window into what you know with what you share to us. You need to paint the picture of your own understanding of VPM, and you need to make us, as the credentialing committees, see and believe it as well. Please spell out all acronyms. Don't make assumptions about what we know and what we don't know. The credentialing committee doesn't have time to Google your acronyms and guess which one you're trying to use. Be quantitative wherever applicable. Wherever you can provide us data, it makes your claims, your justifications, all the more impactful and believable. For example, if you are in practice and want to count your qualifying experiences under surveillance recognition of communicable diseases, describe the scope of your experience by listing the number or even an average or a median of cases that you're seeing that apply to this section, or types of animals, number of interactions per week, month, or year, as applicable. And also relate this to, are these individual cases that you're seeing, or are you addressing populations? And if there's a population health component, please make sure that we see that you're aware of that as well. Describe what and how you have experience in at least 3 areas of VPM, but don't be afraid to justify experience in all 6 if you have it. For instance, under prevention and control, describe how you educate clients, soldiers, or other veterinarians, paraprofessionals, supervisors, support staff, or even the general public. How you directly implement prevention and control practices for zoonotic or foodborne diseases within your practice or within your volunteer work or other professional experiences. And the same thing goes with training activities or different training programs that you're in. If you have a residency or a PhD or an MPH and you have any kind of practicums or experiences related to any of the areas of VPN, please make sure that you highlight these as well so that you can get as much credit for what you're already doing as possible. And for any of those training programs that are still in progress, if you're not finished yet, list how many credits or hours have been completed out of the total that need to be. Show kind of as a percentage out of 100%, but also tell us which classes you've taken. So if there's core classes that maybe aren't as applicable to VPM and electives that are very applicable, make sure that you highlight how far you are in that degree and which courses apply directly to those 6 areas of VPM. Give some examples of some of the activities that you've done or some of the different exercises or assignments that are within the courses or within your course of study. And specifically, if you have research projects or research interests that are focused on any of the areas of VPM, we definitely want to know about those, whether you're completed with your defense of the project or not. If you have something that's in progress, research definitely oftentimes applies to more than one of these categories. So if you're able to show us how you're working in multiple categories at the same time in a research project as well, that'll give us a lot of information about not only your training program, but your understanding of veterinary preventive medicine and your future role as a member of the college. And once all of that is complete and your sponsor has reviewed it and you are ready to submit your application, please visit acvpm.org and select My Profile, where you'll be asked to log in if you aren't already, and then your profile page will appear. This is where you will navigate to the payment section so that you can select the check mark or the red circle near your name and open your invoice. You'll then select Pay Selected Invoices, and until this payment is made, your application is not complete. So you do need to make your $300 payment in order for your application to be marked complete and move towards a credentials committee review. Thank you so much in your interest in the American College of Veterinary Preventive Medicine and in becoming a diplomate and joining us in the college. Please visit our FAQs at acvpm.org/page/FAQ to find out more answers to your burning questions about the application period. And please don't hesitate to reach out to the Credentials Committee if you have any snags along the way. We look forward to your applications this fall and wish you all good luck.